Is that us?
It is us.
That's not the volume button. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Ike from Flipside Music, and what is going on? Welcome to Fact.
What's going on?
Yeah. What's going on? And I stepped to the studio and
Went outside.
put my fat headphones on.
Got real high.
Well, yeah.
You guys have seen the He-Man Masters of the Universe version of that, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, after the stream, I'll play it for you. It's pretty incredible if you haven't seen it. Also for the audience, if you haven't seen that, it's from the early days of YouTube.
Early days of the
Yeah.
tubes. All right. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Weekly question and answer show for those of you guys that are new here.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah. So usually we chat a bit about any
music news.
related news stuff, kind of stuff going on, and then you're gonna test out a few pedals, and we starting a little bit late today because things happen. That's how it is, gremlins and such. What's going on? What's happened in the greater music world recently?
Did you guys see the Fender audio app thing, recording business that dropped today?
I did not see
Fender
that.
Studio, that's what it's called.
Fender
Yeah,
Studio.
Fender Studio. I
What,
did not
yeah,
see that. What's that
what
all
is it?
about?
So it's a free app that's a DAW to record your
Oh, okay.
ideas, and it's a pretty fully featured DAW.
For your
free.
phone? For your
Yeah,
phone?
For your phone, iPad, computer.
Oh wow. Fender's
it's
really
free.
trying to get
And it's
into
free?
that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Fender's trying to do the digital thing. Here, it's a crack.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give you first rock for free,
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't mention it,
and then you come back later when you get hooked to it.
but you kind of need the I/O, the link I/O.
Ah, see, there's
For
always
Fender.
a catch.
But it's $90, not bad.
Not terrible.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Fender, to be honest, owns PreSonus now.
Yeah, that's.
So I think there's
Some tie-ins going in.
they're still doing the PreSonus stuff, which we actually have to look into. But I'm sure they're taking some of that technology from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of the reviewers mentioned that if you're used to PreSonus's Studio One, this feels
Like that.
like that.
Geez, I wonder why that is.
What could that be?
Yeah.
But it looked pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all, so I will look into that as well. Hey, what's happening, Carla? What's happening, Dave? Eric Luttinger is in the house. I'd also like to extend a very warm happy birthday to our preferred Canadian YouTuber, Ben Coombs.
Oh, is it today?
Yes.
Cool. Happy birthday, Ben.
I think it was today. I don't know. My days run together, so it was either today or yesterday, but I think it was today.
Okay. Well, maybe Amanda will show up and tell him for us.
Yeah, so somebody will.
Because I haven't seen him on here for a while now.
It's been a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's busy. We're
Yeah.
busy. There's a lot of stuff that I'm behind on, but that's what happens.
Mhm.
But every week,
Actually, I haven't seen Terry for a bit either.
yeah,
now that I think of
with
it.
every week, the discipline is to come to you guys live through your TV screen to talk shite and play pedals. Yep, it's today. Dashley Dave said it was Ben's today. Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. All right, so what else is going on in the greater world of music?
PRS dropped some new guitars.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
Some S2s and some SEs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got a meeting with the PRS guy tomorrow. Phone meeting. Just new rep.
I never thought
Oh,
I'd be a
new rep?
PRS
Oh.
type of person, and man, I just don't want to put that guitar down.
Nor was I, but there are a few models that I'm like, okay, I get it. For a long time, I was like, I don't really get it. They're pretty. They're good-looking guitars. I like the grain patterns and all the stuff. And years ago, played a Vela, which was really cool, an S2 Vela, and I was like, okay, this is a guitar I could see. And then once we started getting them in and I got a chance to play like different models, then it was like, okay.
Yeah, I'd still say
I see what it is. I don't still own one. But I do, there's one on the wall I would certainly take. If I had the opportunity to actually just take it, I could.
Well, yeah.
The DGT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the N3s are pretty. Those were the ones that kind of got me more interested. I guess because I feel like that's more of their own actual guitar. That makes sense.
They like made that pickup.
Yeah, like it's there's enough tweaks about it that I'm like, okay, this is their guitar, not their copy or their take on somebody else's guitar.
What guitar would that be?
The N3. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but what would the comparison be to?
Well, I mean, it's in the Stratty vein, obviously,
that's
but
where I was
it's
going with
definitely not like, I mean, if you were gonna try to hybridize humbucker pickups with single coils, you basically result with those pickups. You do have the shorter scale, and then I mean, I think yes, it's Stratty, but at least it's not just the Silver Sky.
And that orange.
Which is different too.
Yeah,
I mean, the Silver Sky isn't quite as.
No,
exactly
but
a
I mean,
Strat
yeah,
either.
but I mean, it's closer to a Strat than because like the N3 finally feels like somebody, if you were to list out the things you would want to make on like a super Strat that's not necessarily going for like the Floyd Rose double humbucker thing. I feel like that's a more interesting take. Because a lot of their other stuff always reminds me of like, oh, this is like a Les Paul with an extra cutaway, or this is an Ibanez with a, because like their HSH, very much has kind of Ibanez vibes to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the body styles. I don't dislike the guitars at this point. Like
Yeah,
I said,
no,
that
like I said,
DGT
it
is
was-
really nice. I
Yeah.
like playing that, and that's the one I would take that. I don't know that I want that. The color that we have in stock, I'd probably go with something else.
Sure.
But I like that neck profile. It feels really comfy.
And from a playability standpoint, that trem, I hammer on it all the time and it never goes out of tune.
Yeah.
Like
Which,
barely.
And I was just say for that price range for that guitar too, that is really solid.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
It's good shite. Good shite.
I feel like there was more news, but I don't remember what it was.
I feel so too, and I don't remember. My brain's a little cloudy today.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have been traveling around. I don't think we ever touched on the whole, what's his name, Giacomo thing. That was kind of an interesting.
Yeah.
Only
I've
because
seen a few.
because we actually met him and like loaned the
Yeah,
amp
we
and the
actually
whole
loaned an amp to him.
I was gonna say rather
When
than
he
just
came through
like
town.
continuing the gossip on that side, or not gossip. It's not.
So-
It's proven bullshit at this point, but whatever.
Yeah. So do you know?
Are you familiar with
Are
what
you
happened?
familiar with Giacomo Tura?
I am not. I feel like I've heard the name, but
So he Italian kid, always with the hat on backwards, playing a lot of
Is he the
funk.
dude who got slammed for like stealing?
Yeah, always
Yes.
playing a lot of funk stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was Category 5 amps reached out to me, Don Ritter, and was like, hey, Giacomo's in town, and he wanted to buy this amp. Could I send it to you and you get it to him?
Was this last year or the year before?
It was last year.
Last year.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, man, because Don works with the charity that I work with too. So, so he sends the amp here, and then we brought it. They played Cervantes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got to go see the show, and we got him the amp and all that stuff. Show's okay, if I remember correctly. It was
Yeah, I can't remember who he opened for though, because it was somebody else that was on that ticket that was pretty.
yeah.
solid.
He was the opener,
Yeah.
and was it Devin Lamar?
See, that's weird, is because we went there, so those were close together. So in my brain, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
kind of wondering, because we were on the same side.
we were. Yeah, but I don't remember if. No, I think it was different. Because I remember thinking when we went to Delvin, I was like, I'm gonna remember this parking spot because it was really nice, and so I did. But yeah, I don't remember who
Great.
opened.
Yeah. 'Cause I think it was because we did go around the same time.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's probably my brain's putting the
Yeah,
two
mine's
shows
kind of
together.
Yeah.
Because we were on the same side of the stage for both of those shows. Shit, I don't remember
I always remember drunk guy at Delvin Lamar.
which one.
He was one of the. You know how like there's always like one drunk dude that's gotta like stabilize on something.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
he's
yeah.
still like trying to vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty incredible. But when he started to do the lean and droop thing, but he was like still like his hips were still moving. It
You're
was
like,
like
oh,
it was yeah.
Your body's doing one thing,
It's
your
pretty
mind's
great,
doing something
yeah.
else.
One just Goots is like looking at me, and then he looks at the guy, and then he looks over at me, and looks at the guy.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't. Okay, so anyway,
Sorry, yeah.
yeah, we went off on a tangent because now I'm like, who the hell who did he open for? So the whole big thing was that he's hot shit, funk player, a lot of intricate kind of funky stuff, real tight stuff. And I guess it came out fairly recently, that he was like stealing tunes from people.
Well,
and
particularly like ripping off other artists that were not as well known, so that
Yeah,
it was
like
not as
other
easy
YouTube-
to find. Yeah,
like other YouTube people.
Yeah.
So like he was kind of like almost trolling the internet to find tunes and stuff from other people, and so it was that. But then also the like mimicking the playing.
Yeah.
Well, he was doing that, and then to record it because he wasn't technically apparently capable of doing what he was putting out. He was
Yeah, that was another
he was
thing.
yeah he was basically slowing it down, recording it, and then speeding it back up to the proper pace. But yeah, the fallout from that, I mean, because like he lost all of his endorsements pretty much in a day.
Yeah.
Any listings that any company had of him or like of his products, all of that shit's gone. All of his artist models are gone. So yeah, it was just interesting, but it kind of ended up opening up this whole. Because I've noticed like for the last like 2-3 weeks, it's been a lot of different channels kind of bringing up the ethics behind like YouTube guitar stuff and Instagram guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And
Didn't he go to a jam or something and was like, couldn't play?
well, there was a bunch of things like
It was a Rick Beato
Yeah, Rick
thing.
Beato ended
Rick
up.
Beato,
That one ended up really cracking.
And Rick was
it,
like,
yeah.
that was a big one because he's like, he can't even play.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
mean,
even
I
put
mean-
out the video because it. Yeah.
He didn't even put out the video because
Yeah.
he's like, this isn't. Who are you?
This person is not presenting as.
But I mean, he played at the show we were at.
Oh, he did. Yeah, no, and he can play. He can.
Right,
It's,
it's
one
not
of
like
those.
he's not a
Incapable.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's not capable of what he was putting out.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily capable of writing to the complexity of
Like
the things
I
that
said,
he was putting out.
That's
yeah.
the thing, he can't write anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
All of
that's
those solos were.
yeah. That's all. Yeah. Because I mean, it's kind
I
of
saw
hard.
the Adam Neely video.
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say there was quite a few different ones, but yeah, it seemed like Rick Beato's video really made a big. Obviously, because he has probably the. I mean,
Right,
he's
the
got to be the
biggest.
biggest YouTube
Yeah.
when it comes to that stuff. But his was interesting, and also again, it kind of opened up the whole thing behind the ethics of like miming, because it's like obviously people have technically been doing that shit since TV was has been in existence.
And
So,
I mean,
like,
there are
there's-
And for
YouTubers that
technical
Yeah.
things live on TV shows and stuff, they do it for like technical reasons.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because like when the three of us were kind of going back and forth about how to do shit in this room, it occurred to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why they do that shit on old TV shows. Like they knew that these things were gonna be impossible to do
Right.
live, so they're like, all right, we're gonna roll this, you're gonna play to it, then we'll do the interview, and like that's as good as you could make it back then. But there's still some validity to the way that ends up getting done, because you can do more like show production
Right.
and not less of relying on the band to just absolutely nail it. But it, like I said, the ethics behind I guess miming is what ended up becoming kind of a thing, and I guess it is one of those things. Like personally, I guess I don't really have a problem with it as much as I don't have a moral issue with it. I just don't like it.
if you wrote the material,
Yeah.
if you wrote the song and wrote the solo,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to put out the best, like you wrote it and did it, and then you kind of mimed it for the video.
People do that every day.
Yeah, and I don't think that, to be honest, like I don't think that's like crazy. Because the thing is, it's like, I know the person that can play it.
Yeah.
You know, they could play the thing. It's just they wanted to put out the best form of the video, and they're hitting the notes. It's not like, I mean, you can
Yeah.
watch some of these guys, and it's like they're nailing it. They wrote it.
Yeah.
So what? I don't think that's a big deal. If they can't play it afterwards, then we got an issue. Like, if, you
Well,
know
and
what
I'd
I
say
mean?
the only time I don't like it is more when, so like let's say a dude is doing a video demo of something, puts a ton of production into the song, mimes the song at the beginning, and then goes into actually playing it. Like, to me, I guess it's just it clutters things. So it's not like I don't disagree with it, but I just feel like, because to me, like, a lot of guitar is about that particular instant and that particular take. You know, it's not like, I mean, yes, you can get it if you're producing something that's going to be reused. Obviously, you want it to be perfect, but a lot of times when it comes to gear, like, I want to hear what it's doing, imperfections as well. Like, I would like to hear some of those things.
Right, but
so
I think,
like for me, that's more of a like I said, more of a personal thing. But morally, I don't think, like, you know, like you guys said, that's just part of the production. That's how that goes. That's how that stuff is done. So
Right,
there's
and
really nothing wrong with it.
it could also be like if it's an instructional
Yeah, yeah,
video, and it's like, okay, well, I'm showing you this quick arpeggio thing.
mm-hmm.
You know, they could play it so it sounds the way they want it, and then they could just, you know, they mime it after, but they still have to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, slowing shit down, playing it slow, and then speeding it up, well, that's cheating.
Fool people.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that to intentionally deceive.
Well, and there's kind
That's
of the
the
heart
thing.
of
I
it.
don't
Of
think
anything you
people
do
are-
to fool people is where
Yeah.
the moral part of it.
And I don't think some of these guys are intentionally trying to deceive. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to put their best production forward, not trying to deceive people. Now, if you're putting it out to be deceptive, then
Yeah,
piss
yeah.
off.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess, again, kind of like morally, I don't think there is an issue with that. It's more, to me, when it comes to demos or gear, like, I just tend to gravitate towards the guys that just, like, plug it in and show you rather than, like, because, I mean, I don't mind, like, there's some guys that kind of hybridize stuff, too, because, like, Mark Johnston, like, he'll produce a song, that's the intro, then he kind of goes into, like, the actual review of the piece of gear, and usually within that part of the review, he will show you individual examples of how, like, does this, and this results in this. So, like, he kind of does a good thing of, like, here's this product in the context of a song, and here it is on its own, so you kind of get the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's more like, it's weird, too, because I actually do, like, out of all the old YouTuber guys that kind of got a little bit bigger in, like, the last few years, Rabia, like, used to do it a lot, where, like, the miming was too apparent, and it was more for his, like, little flash videos. It wasn't when he was doing, like, his full featured videos.
Right.
It was more when he was doing, like, an ad for a company, and you're like, okay, you're trying to, like, freak out and spaz out so you look cooler while you're playing your thing. But it's like sometimes when you get to that point, then it's like when it's too obvious that you're miming, then it's like it kind of ruins it. Because, like, for me, it's kind of like anytime you can tell what's going on, like anytime you can visibly see how the sausage got made, then you're like, nah.
Right. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's even like old videos.
Mhm.
I mean, you got to remember, like,
No, yeah, that's
music
fair point,
videos,
yeah.
they weren't playing the damn thing. They were on some shit, but they were miming what they
mean-
know how to play. They
You mean
wrote
George
it.
Lynch didn't one-hand solo everything in the 80s, tied up to
Holy
some shit so he could break some chains?
I think he did. That's the thing.
I mean, he's
With a
George Lynch.
with a
I
glove.
actually, I
with
actually
his-
think he did.
yeah,
That's
with his
the thing.
his glove of shred,
The shred
the
glove.
shred glove. But yeah, I think it was kind of an interesting thing that ended up with Giacomo because I think it was kind of, I guess I was surprised at how quickly, like, once that box was opened, it
Oh,
was
it
just
was
like,
fine.
yeah.
Because like I think
It
he,
was just like Milli Vanilli.
yeah.
And I think he pulled like his pages and
When he was like begging other people to
Instagram.
not expose more of the stuff that came out, which that infinitely made it worse. Because like as soon as you start like making a campaign to stop people from exposing shit, you're done. Like that's, I mean, yeah. Especially when you've ripped off their friends. That was the part that was interesting to me. Is like, not only did you do it to this other person that you're getting a hold of, But that community, especially of those dudes that are at that level, because I mean, a lot of those, like when I was looking into it, it's like a lot of those dudes he was ripping off are monster players, like absolute monster players. So that community is tight, and it's like there's there's
all the YouTube guitar guys.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those guys know each other or or have had contact because they've gone to, like Henning Pauly does the thing in Germany, the 42 Gear Street.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of YouTubers that have gone to that, and those guys meet each other, and they, drink beer and have food together, and then they go to the NAMM show, and then they collaborate on their own videos.
Well, 'cause,
And
like,
so
even
a lot
though
of
there's
those
not
guys
a-
know the
A
other.
bunch of them share a house.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
even though they're not formal, it's not like a formal company organization. They are work associates. They are colleagues, and they are friends. A lot of them. So it's like it's such a weird thing to think that you could be begging one dude to not expose the shit that you ripped off from his buddy, and not have that travel down the line. Like that was just such
it's
a
gonna get around.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was just so dumb. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting.
That's a lesson to you kids. Mm-hmm. Don't be a dick.
Just be authentic. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That dude could, with all that marketing, could have been just fine doing himself.
hmm Well, and that kind of does go to that because like there's a lot of people that, they think well, in that case, like he's deceiving his way up to a higher status, when the amount of forgiveness he would have been granted for just being himself would have been huge. Like he could have, nobody would have been going after that shit the way they were if he wasn't portraying all these falsehoods. So it's one of those things of like you kind of asked for it because you literally put in so much time and production into deceiving people that you've now opened that window rather than just being like having a single mistake that you're trying to.
But he could also approach it differently and go, "Hey, I really like that song
Yeah.
that
Do
you
you mind
perform.
if I cover it?
Would you mind if I did a cover? My name is so and so. This is what I, kind of thing I'm doing. I
Or
really
put
like.
the
I really like that. Is it cool if I do a cover? And they'd probably go, "Yeah, go ahead. It's something I threw together because I was trying to do a triad course or something." And then you can collaborate, and now you guys the boats are rising instead of you being a dick.
Right. Well, yeah. Actually, I guess that does go back to just the. Just conduct yourself with some integrity, and the shit won't happen to you.
Yeah,
I mean
people
that's
make
really what it
mistakes.
is. Yeah.
People make mistakes, and I think if you make a mistake, people are definitely way more apt to, show you some grace, if you will.
If you're authentic.
Yeah, and it's like I made a mistake, and you may have put the progression or a melody together that's close or something. There's only so many freaking notes. The thing is that you could have, if like you said, if you're authentic about what you're doing, and you make a mistake, people will forgive you most likely. But if you're intentionally deceptive and full of shit, I mean, you're just not going to get. You're not going to get that same level of grace.
Well, it is. It's kind of
At least it doesn't work for
getting caught with an honest mistake versus getting caught in deception are two wildly different things.
Yeah.
So. Well, and two, it was very predatory. I guess that was also the part that was like preying on other artists that are not as well known, like is bullshit. So we can kind of leave it there. But I was like that was the part ultimately when like as they were going through the things, I'm like okay, whatever. But then they get to the thing where he's like purposefully ripping off these guys. Well, and, like the one
and
dude
then try
that
to cover it up.
yeah, and like the one dude that said basically the guy quit making music for over a year because he was so, he was so basically just completely pissed off with the way the whole system worked that he stopped making music for a whole year. And it's like, who knows what that guy could have come up with that, you've basically, cut out all of the dude's enthusiasm because you ripped him off and it worked. And it's like, that's the shit that like ripping people off should definitely not get rewarded. So
I agree. Unfortunately, it happens.
yeah.
So Joey Dano Guitars, which we know who that is. So yeah, Texas Toast. This is a Texas Toast Level 1 Challenger with Dylan Talks Tone P90s in it. In TV yellow. Oh, by the way, that SG in the back, I won't be buying it.
Oh, no? Okay. Are you doing a SG class?
No.
Oh. Are you
But,
buying an SG from Texas Toast? Okay.
Did someone make one in a class last week? that you're
I'll
buying?
follow my deduction trail down
Right.
to the, yeah.
You're on the right trail, buddy. Yeah, I was over there yesterday, dropping off some cases to the guys at Texas Toast, and they had some SG body stuff that they were doing. And I was like, yeah, I don't have one. I was considering getting one, and I played the blue one they had. And then we just got to chatting, and there was other stuff. And Matt's like, look at this. You know, and I was like, well, that'd be cool. Could we do it in like so it's going to be a cream color SG with tortoiseshell pickguard. With,
Big or little pickguard?
the, you know,
The half.
the wee guy,
The
not
half
the
wing.
big bat wing,
Yeah.
the half wing.
Yeah.
It's going to be the half wing on like a, you know, like a vintage white kind of color with tortoiseshell
Oh, yeah, it's actually kind of similar
binding.
to Jake's.
Yeah, binding, and then block inlays.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then I don't know, I might do the rail hammer pickups, or I got pearly gates at home. I got rail hammers. I got Billy Corgan pickups.
The pearly gates ones would probably.
The thing is, I think the pearly gates I have don't have any covers on them. And I don't want to do a coverless, because I think a coverless looks okay, but I think an SG looks better with covers on it.
Just depends on what you're going to use it for, yeah.
I'm going to use it for rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because
I'm gonna use it for
if it's
rock.
going to be higher gain, then you might consider no covers. But
It won't be a higher gain. You know
Okay.
me. I mean, where am I going?
well, yeah, you never know. Feedback affects all of us. Yeah, that was actually. Well, I mean, this would be a side tangent we don't need to get into. Maybe next week. But I would actually like at some point to discuss why certain pickups are so damn expensive. Because it's one of those things when you start, because like, I mean, I'm sure I know everybody and all of us do this with everything we buy between the guitars, the pedals, pickups. But when you look at some of them, because the other day, like I went down this rabbit hole and I was, you know, reading all these different things. I got to where I was looking at the throwback, like PAF stuff, and I was like, oh, these look really awesome. And then I get to their site and I'm like, what the like $880 for a set of pickups?
Yeah,
Like
sorry.
you're talking about from Gibson, right?
No, these were like Throwback, the company.
Oh.
Yeah, so like they make some spectacular like old PAF style pickups. But when I got to the price, I was like, at first I thought like maybe a
$100.
yeah, that's why I thought like
That's
maybe
what
some
Gibson's charging for pickups.
that's insane.
No,
yeah,
they're not.
Yeah.
that's insane.
No, they're not.
Yes,
Really?
they are.
For
Yeah.
like 490 Ts?
No, it's
Probably
like
for like
those
the old
apps.
PAF. Yeah,
Oh, I was
yeah,
like,
but I
dude,
would
But
honestly
they're
be
like $1,000.
yeah, and I'd be curious if Throwback's not making them for them. But it was just one of those things.
Could be.
It was
And so they're 800 and then they're 1,000.
yeah, because I was gonna say I was looking. It was Zach from Mythos had like a whole breakdown on, you know, like if you like, let's say you had like an R9 or something, and you wanted to basically fit it out to be more accurate to like an actual 59 Les Paul. He had a whole list of things, but when I got to the pickups part, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But that was where I was trying to figure out. I'm like, even if somebody handmade it and the whole thing, like, still,
They'd
how
have
is
to
it
make the wire,
800?
too.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah,
I
like
smelted this wire my
yeah,
damn
exactly.
self.
Yeah, I went and
It's
mined.
copper,
I mined the
right?
copper. Yeah, yeah,
I did it all myself. I even made this plastic
yeah.
in my laboratory.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where I'm like, that is just nuts. I'm like, I appreciate the accuracy, but holy shit.
Yeah, that's a little insane. I think it's insane.
Well, it is because I mean, like,
'Cause I've
there's,
seen $400 pickups, $450, and I go, fuck no.
well, I mean, we have dudes that come in the shop that don't even have that much invested in their gigging guitar, like the whole
Right.
guitar. So yeah, that's why to me it's just, and like I'm sure they're great, but it's just like,
I know I don't have that much in my ASAC Classic that I play.
well, and that was what I was
That's the
trying to
one I
boil
play
down
out.
to of like the Total Gravy did, because like whenever I hear Goots's pickups, I'm like, those are really, really, really good. They're still about the same price as like Seymour Duncan's though. They're not like they're
Right.
wildly out.
It's-
Yeah.
I have like a Tyson Tone PAF pickup that was like $200.
Yeah.
And that
Is
is
that
like
made by
one
that
guy.
that chicken company?
Yeah, Tyson. Tyson.
Yeah.
We call it
But
the
it's one
chicken
guy
screamers.
hand winding these things like.
Right. Well, that's
And it sounds amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, are you wiring it on a hand wheel?
That you whittled yourself out of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I whittled this out of my grandpappy's wooden leg.
Yeah, did you hand carve the magnets and the whole pieces and yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was trying to figure out, I'm like, you can boil this shit down and you can say as much whatever as you want. Cause like, same thing with pedals, like a lot of guys put a lot of verbiage into their descriptions of their pedals in order to entice people into, cause it's like, it's one of those things like fundamentally, like a treble booster for instance. You know, when you look at some of those ones and people are charging like $380 or $400 for a treble booster, and it's like it's literally, you know, maybe a dozen parts total for the whole thing, and it's like it just there's no way, you know, it's 30 to $60 in parts, and so it's one of those things where like I think a lot of that stuff is getting. I mean, I guess people have their prices for whatever, but it does feel like a lot of things are getting out of
Boutique.
hand in
If you
that.
want boutique, you
Yeah.
get boutique. That's what boutique is.
Well, yeah, but to me, like
Expensive.
boutique is getting, I don't know, I don't want to say abused, but like it's because people can
Well,
charge whatever they want, and if people pay it, people pay it. But it's one of those things like I just can't imagine that you're doing anything in particular that this other guy over here is not doing.
Well, I mean that goes into the guitar side of stuff too.
Yeah.
When you're looking at like, why is a guitar $10,000?
Or I
Like
saw a YouTube
for
video.
like a Strat style or for a
Or
Telecaster
yeah,
style.
yeah.
That's not like
Well,
a
kinda like we were
vintage
talking
thing
about,
or
like-
something.
Or
like a-
$100,000
yeah.
for an acoustic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the Archtop guys that are like. Did you go to the Archtop festival last year?
No.
I mean, they're $30,000 guitars.
Yeah, that's
$40,000
Oh, shit,
guitar. You know,
But, and it's not.
this has got
anything more than-
230 layers of French polish and or whatever the fuck.
I've invested
does take
99
time.
elbow hours into this
Right.
one
I
spot.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of those guitars, don't get me wrong, they are. I mean, those are the Ferraris and
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure
they're
that's
the
like-
Bentleys and the Rollses
Yeah.
of guitars. I mean, they're beautiful. They're exquisite. Guitars that are works of art. But man,
But maybe that's
30
it.
grand.
It's
Holy shite.
every detail they're taking into account.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are hand carving the fucking pins and the buttons.
That's
and,
also what I mean.
Yeah.
Again, getting back to the pickups part, it's like I know that they're not doing that, and even if they are hand wiring it,
They're smelting it.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah, unless they're like hand forging every piece of it, like yeah.
They
Um,
smelt it. They dealt
That's
it.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, I guess I got us off on a longer tangent than I meant to, but it was one of those things like I thought was interesting and also shocking. Because it's been a while since I
don't
like
know
dove
that I've
into the
seen-
pickup side of things.
But
Yeah,
it's
I
like
haven't
one of
looked at
those, like, it's what the market, can allow. So like a dentist or a lawyer, blues lawyer is like, I want $1,000.
Well, and to be honest,
Yeah.
like if
And
you
I
have,
don't-
if you drop,
For the
yeah,
guy
if you
that thinks that that's what.
well, if you
is
dropped 8 to
keep
10
holding them
grand,
back.
yeah, if you dropped 8 to 10 grand for your custom shop and you want to throw $800 pickups in it, that's really not that crazy.
For sure.
Because it's like that wouldn't be any different than a dude buying a $2,000 guitar and putting $200 pickups in it. It's proportionately it's the same, but it's just one of those things where it was shocking.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We don't have a lot of time left, but we'll do a
All right,
little
yeah,
bit. So.
we got
But according to Jane's addiction, nothing's shocking.
nothing
Yeah.
shocking. Right?
Nothing shocking except for like slapping your guitarist on stage.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to look at real quick now the new Electro-Harmonix Ocean's Abyss.
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 Yeah. So
So-
dual stereo reverb with an effects loop and individual mixing for each of the reverbs, which is pretty cool.
And also the Old Blood Noise Endeavors beam splitter.
Right,
Yes.
so we got not stereo, but
Trario.
with 3 amps, which definitely makes it a weird thing.
Yeah.
So, let's try a thing.
Cool. What settings do we have these first two reverbs on, Jacob?
screensaver mode, but it should tell you there. And then the easiest way to navigate this thing is with the flip switches to do the presets, just like on the LVX.
Oh, okay. That's
That,
curious. It has
that
a.
knob, I don't know about. It does a lot. I got lost.
It's got an EQ. It does. That's pretty cool. That's one thing I'd be honest. Like I wouldn't be upset if Maris ever added an EQ to some of their stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into that because that's a whole rabbit hole.
It's not as intuitive as it might, as you would want it to be. Or at least that's how.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so that's what that's doing. Okay.
Pressing a lot of buttons for nothing to happen. You know what I'm saying? Here's the happening.
So it has the two reverbs and an effect.
Yeah, this one's phaser, delay, reverb, A and B, but one reverb's at the beginning of the signal versus the end. That's actually pretty cool. It's almost like Electro-Harmonix kidnapped somebody from Boss to make this screen.
Sounds cool in the headphones.
So is it?
Ooh, that was cool hearing it actually move across the amps.
And so in the room and in the headphones, it's running wet, dry, wet.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's kind of cool.
So obviously that's like more of a swirly octave kind of reverb. We'll go to the next one and see. Oh, this one's just Holland Spring.
That's nice.
Oh.
Never work. Always working. There's that. Oh, this one.
The one with the writing stuff.
What are we getting? What are we buying? Pedal. Pedal purchases. All right, there we go.
Thank you, sir.
You know, I'm writing checks, doing things.
Surfers.
Hey! Hey! I got ripped off. Dave's like, where'd that guy going?
These pickups are a lot louder.
Yeah, I was like that.
It's a lot louder. Only thing that's a little funky. I wish it would tell you what reverb was which when you're on it rather than having to toggle into it. Oops. Yeah, this one's a bit shimmer. Let's add another one though.
I'm glad it was more intuitive for your ears.
How do I? Only thing, yeah, I want to add another reverb though. That's not what I wanted. Oh, wait.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm just playing the cowboy chords, buddy. I'm just doing the cowboy chords, buddy.
Oh, there's Bit Crusher. FXL. What's FXL? Oh, effects loop. Okay. Volume. There we go. Another reverb. Alright, so it looks like for the modes, we've got room, hall, spring, plate, reverse, dynamic, auto int, shimmer, polyphonic, resonant, and back to it. So let's see. Let's do a reverse. Yeah, there we go. Just what Ike likes. So if you toggle it out of it, it forgets which one you had. That's annoying.
A lot of buttons.
There's a lot going on there.
Oh, and that's weird. So the display is backwards. Man, I wonder if that's just because people can't get over like reading from the Western side of things, but yeah. So like the in is over here, the out is over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is the opposite of actual
I don't
signal
know how
flow.
it would actually go.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, that's really.
I wonder if there's a setting for in that to flip it around. Because I would have to assume if you were an engineer building this thing, that you would ask yourself, like, most people would.
Real engineer wouldn't do. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Well, but I'm thinking that somebody would, the real engineer would go, well, why do you want to disrupt the sound?
Yeah,
It's perfect. What I'm saying is maybe in the settings you can reverse that.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
That would be nice because that is counterintuitive to.
The way your normal pedal board would go.
Yeah.
They do that on the Fender end too. It goes the wrong way too. Feels like it sounds nice though.
It does. Well, and I was just saying, being able to add these little combos of effects is pretty cool. You can do parallel lines, which is pretty cool as well. So, like, if you wanted to add. Mess up all kinds of shit real quick. Here, let's add some phaser. Where's my colors? Alright, so we got one reverb feeding another reverb and a delay. Oh wait, no, this is all going the other direction. this wouldn't
It
work.
does sound really cool.
That part of it,
like I think
though-
the what I'm hearing sounds really good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say yeah. It's just that is throwing me a bit.
It
there.
might take a
Okay.
minute to figure it out,
Well, it's
which
back.
we don't
it's,
have.
It's
We have
backwards.
about 3 minutes.
All right, try it again. Yeah, there we go. I wonder if they put any envelope filters. Oh, this is on the. Yeah. I guess I'm not gonna get used to that in the amount of time we have.
Show off
No. Yeah, that beam splitter is pretty wicked.
What happens if you don't put something
All right, we got to roll anyway. It's already 5.
Okay.
You'll be able to sit here and
that
feel the foot.
leapt out of the speaker.
Oh,
Well,
sorry
yeah,
about
I was
all
just
that.
saying. So no, it does function. I guess for anybody that does end up getting it, it does function like anything else. Where once you start splitting the signal, you do start losing volume. So that's why they have some of those little volume boosts in there if you want
Bumps
to
in
add
there.
that back. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to let everybody go. Thanks for hanging out with us. We didn't get into this thing as nearly as much, but we may fiddle fart around and maybe next week. I don't know. Go and check out our friends over at Texas Toes Guitars. They're going to be doing their live stream here right now, probably right now. And then after that, go and check out Dylan Talks Tone. All right. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.